far as what I did was I jacked up the truck, and I do have 2 jacks up underneath the front axle, and that's just to, you know, go up and down with the axle as I need for the leaf springs and everything else. But all right, let's start. All right, so here are the leaf spring shackles, just the 18 mil. Well, one side got loose, the other one didn't, which means it's good because at least the torsion of it is. So I'm just gonna cut them. So when you take this stuff out, be mindful underneath here. There's going to be a caster shim that adjusts the caster. This one, excuse me. Doesn't look like it has it. Might be on the other side, so I'm just gonna so I got both sides taken out. Did remove two leaf springs on this side. This side is completely removed. And the reason why I can't really go any further than that is when I removed the other leaf spring, it was broken. Always something. So that right there is the attachment. It's one piece with that. And that was broken as soon as I took it out. I noticed it. Now I got to get a new leaf spring. But a lot of you that have watched the channel, I went through the same thing with the Classic, and you know that I'm not going to do just one. I got to do both sides, otherwise it'll start sitting all funky, and it'll put even more pressure on one side. So it is what it is. I got to order those this coming week. Hopefully I can find them quickly, and hopefully it's not going to break the bank. But like I said, it is what it is. But in the meantime, I am just painting the brackets. So these are the lower brackets. Those are the two struts, or the two shocks, I'm sorry, mount. This is one of the top ones. This is the passenger side. And then this is the driver's side. The driver's side is designed this way, so you can sit inside more. And that's to clear the pitman arm, since the steering is on that side. So a little bit of a stall on that, but I mean, it is what it is. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to take care of the rear here and complete the extensions for the trailer connection. Not ideal, but like I said, it is what it is. Sometimes you can't foresee this crap, but what can you do? These I'm painting with engine enamel, just blue. And that's just to keep the rust away, so to speak. So I got those pieces painted, did a couple of little things, ran some airline, which is pretty straightforward, you know, zip tied stuff, you know, nice and neat underneath. Did finish the trailer connector, and all that was just underneath, a matter of extending it. And then those are the solenoids for the rear suspension over inflate. I was able to actually make quite a bit of headway with the W9 over the past week. Weather cooperated, and just, you know, putting in just hours and hours and hours of work. I do apologize I didn't film, but I will make a video at some point kind of explaining everything and how it was done. The only reason why is, honestly, God, I'm running so tight on time with this thing now that I simply don't have the time to, you know, shoot and edit and all that stuff to post, and I really am sorry, but this one I decided to you know, kind of shoot. So I got all the floor cut. So these are all the pieces. So measured, cut everything. It was a lot of trial and error on a lot of stuff. Obviously, you know, measure and measure and measure and measure. They say measure twice, cut once. It seemed like I measured 20 times before I cut once, which was a good thing because, you know, thankfully, I didn't have to really remake any of the panels or anything like that. Just, I sort of made everything a little bit bigger than what I needed, and then just started trimming and trimming and trimming. It's kind of a pain in the ass doing it that way because, you know, you're just making more work for yourself, but in the end it pays off because you don't really have to redo anything and waste material. And man, this shit ain't cheap. So I use PVC board to make the bottom or the floor, and it's expensive. Not cheap at all. And you know, I still need one more piece, a big piece, when I'm done for the bed itself. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, got some epoxy to put over the paint. So the paint I just used just exterior paint. Didn't want to get anything crazy because the epoxy is very glossy. So I just got a matte finish, dark blue, and just epoxy over it. Now, with epoxy, I've never done this shit before, guys. So, you know, I read the directions a little bit, try to go online and do a little bit of research and watched a couple of videos, but even the videos don't really go into detail. I have a good idea of how this stuff works from just reading about this stuff, but, you know, we'll see. But what I am going to do is, so here's what I got as far as epoxy. Found this on Amazon. And I am going to put a little bit of pearl white powder. So, you know, this one is 1 part resin, 1 part hardener. Mixing cups. So what I am going to do is, I'm going to mix, you know, obviously 1-to-1 to like a certain amount, and then I'm just going to use just a small plastic spoon for measurement. That way, if I need to mix more, which likely I will have to mix more, I can just, you know, mix the same amount again. So, and I'm doing the pearl white just to kind of give it maybe a little bit of a different look to it. And I do like the distortion of how the pearls end up in the resin from what I've watched. Again, I have absolutely no idea how this shit is going to turn out. I should do a small piece and go from there. But you guys know me, I'm all in. You know, go big or go home. But I will start with a small piece initially just to kind of see how it spreads and what I need to do, and then move on to the bigger pieces after that. But directions do call for a heat gun or a blowtorch. You let the bubbles come up to the top, and then you just use that to sort of make the bubbles go away and give it that high gloss finish, which I have a heat gun and I have a blowtorch here as well. So I'm going to try the blowtorch first, and then we'll kind of go from there. But this is a lot thicker than I expected, really. That's what she said. Except she never said that to me. With me, it's usually, is that it? I'm gonna give this a good mix before I do that. just got to mounting the mud flap hangers, which, you know, those are easy enough. But some loose stuff on this Trux center panel. A little disappointed. Actually, a lot disappointed for as much money as they charge for this shit. Took this apart because, like I said, there was something loose. And here's what I find. This shit shouldn't belong in a freaking truck. You piece of garbage. Look at this. I get it. I'm sure you guys are understaffed and you're trying to make money, but Jesus freaking Christ, man, for as much money as you charge, at least, I mean, this thing was on back order for 2 months anyway. You telling me 2 months for this piece of crap? You know, I hope somebody from them actually sees this stuff. Shame on you guys, man. Shame, shame, shame. You know, this is to the back of the truck, exposed to all the freaking elements, snow and God knows what we have to drive through. And this is the job you do for as much money as you charge? Not only that, this is just cut. And this is power for the auxiliary light. In this case, it's blue. How are you going to leave that exposed like that? Take your money elsewhere, guys. Pretty sad to say sometimes, but sometimes the saying is true. When you need shit done right, you gotta do it yourself. It's been a long day. So what I ended up doing with this, just to give you guys an idea, if any of you try to do this on your own, it's not difficult, it's not simple. You know, you're gonna need a heat gun or a blowtorch, not the blowtorch that you cut shit with, just, you know, one of those, I'll show you. Something like this that plumbers use to solder, or something you can pick it up at Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever your local hardware store. Or just a heat gun itself. I'm not sure if hair dryer works. I'm sure it does, but it's probably going to be very, very slow. Anyway, if you are painting a color and then just doing the high gloss finish, you know, the epoxy on top of the color, you got to go thick off the bat. You can't go thin on this stuff. You really, really do have to go thick. The epoxy, so between the epoxy and the hardener itself, it's 1-to-1 ratio. It's, you know, really no weighing stuff or anything. Get you some cups and then just kind of go by the, you know, ounces. You put 4 ounces of hardener, you got to put 4 ounces of epoxy, 5 and 5, 6 and 6, and so on and so forth. You guys get that. But what I did end up doing, because I was doing that at first and I didn't want full coverage, plus I wanted to go for like a almost like a marble look and like a distorted look. I went, you know, thin. And you guys that have done this before and you didn't do it thick enough the first time, you know how it's, you know, you get all kinds of fish eyes everywhere and stuff like that, which, you know, it happens because there's not enough product there. Supposed to be enough product on there to kind of evenly coat whatever area you're doing. So I did that, I let it dry. Once that stuff dried, and then I put the thick coat on top of it, and I just spread it with that. It doesn't, you know, like I said, it's not hard. It just gotta have a little bit of patience. And then here's what the final product is, but I literally just finished it, so it's still wet. So that's what I was kind of looking to get out of it. So this piece, obviously, that's the passenger seat, driver's seat, gear shifter. That's the pedals. That piece right there is actually going to go under the bunk. And I'll show you what I did inside the bunk there. This goes behind the seats on the bunk side. And then these two little triangles go directly behind the seats. That right there, I actually made a little door for like a little cupboard. I'll show you guys in there. Pieces I left white because this is the door. You're not going to see that. Same with that side. The fridge is going to go underneath it. And then this is where the cupboard is. So here's what I'm actually going to do with the bed. I'm just going to put a piece of plywood down here for a mattress, and took the couch off. You guys know from a previous video it was all messed up. So this piece is going to sit here like so. I'm going to put that on after I finish everything else. Plywood will go there so the mattress can go up. And then I got 2 0-gauge wires coming in. I'm going to put a bus supply. So it's pretty much like a 12 volt bus where main 0-gauge comes in, and then I can go off of that for my amp for the sub, and then for the whatchamacallit, can't even think right now, inverter, power inverter, so I can put a microwave in. And then the top up here I actually finished. This piece I actually got from Vanderhogs. It was used, the other one was broken. The lights here I'm leaving alone. I'm just going to replace those with LEDs. I will put underneath the bunk some dual revolution blues, and then what I ended up doing in the front was so I got a Galaxy radio. Stuff's pretty good. I like those radios. And then so here's where I did with the light. You guys heard me before explaining on a previous video that I wanted some white lights over here, and the reason being for that was on the purple truck, all the purple lights and all that stuff, and my bunk lights are in the back, the switches are in the back, and with the purple lights, when I gotta do, you know, logbooks, paperwork, that sort of thing, it's very hard to see, and I really need reading glasses. So this one I actually wanted to put some white lights, but the dual revolutions you can't get blue and white because the auxiliary light is either blue or white. So I got red and white. Obviously the white, you know, just to check things out. And then I got a blue dual revolutions up here. But if I want red, those will turn red, and then these are all red. So I kind of like that look a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing with up underneath there. And then, like I said, I'll put a couple here in the back. Dash is a mess. Don't judge me too much. I actually got to go to Home Depot. I keep forgetting. I've been over there so many times just to get, you know, supplies and what stuff, but this piece right here is all messed up, and that's for the AC. And I don't want the heat or the cold to come up here, you know, from up underneath there. Not the greatest thing. So see if I can find like maybe a vacuum hose or something like that that I can replace that with, and you know, good to go. I did do the back already. I just haven't hung the mud flaps yet. Still got to run the auxiliary wire up in the cab with the switch for the blue lights all around, and I'm going to tie those with, you know, the overhead lights and the back lights there and everything else, and the lights that I have underneath the truck. But these are set. Here's how I ran them. They run these from down here for whatever reason, which I don't know why the hell they wouldn't do that from up here somewhere, because the connection is not going to be down there. But anyway, I didn't want to drill through this and have more holes, so I just put a couple of isolator clamps there. Same thing on the other side. Nice and neat. And there's that. This thing has been it's been hard work, to say the least, you guys. I have, you know, it's obviously it's a good thing. I'm not complaining that this happened, but I've actually lost about 30 pounds in just the week and a half that I've been working on this thing full time, pretty much, and just, you know, pretty much first, you know, sunlight the sun down. Again, it's a good thing, losing weight, you know, healthier and all that. I have, you know, obviously tried as well with, you know, watching what I eat and that sort of thing, but just, you know, this is a lot of work. If anybody is trying to take on a project like this on your own, just be prepared for a lot of work. Obviously a huge thanks to my wife for putting up with that, because, you know, for, like I said, for the past week and a half, it's been sleep and come here. That's that. She's come out here a couple of times just to hang out with me and have some food, and I go home and I'm tuckered out. You know, shower, I hit the bed, and I'm gone. Next morning, wake up all over again. Again, I'm not complaining. You know, it is what it is. Something that I knew what I was getting myself into, and you know, wanted to do it on my own. But just kind of be mindful, if any of you guys have thought about taking on a project like this, just kind of be prepared for a lot of work. A lot of work and a lot of unexpected stuff. You could have yourself a list of where I gotta go, boom, 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 I need to do these things. And then as soon as you get on there, you know, you do one thing and 6 others pop up that you may not know anything about until you get, you know, to it, so to speak. So same thing with me on this. The overhead, the clearance lights, those were a pain in the ass. I didn't have a chance to shoot, and again, I do apologize about that. It's just one of those things where I'm so limited on time, and shooting and editing takes so much time, at least for me. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm not doing something right. I'm not the greatest when it comes to, you know, editing and this sort of stuff, as far as, like, I don't have a system down yet, I think, to, you know, kind of help me shave off some time, so to speak. But and that's why I haven't been filming. But with the top ones is the top of the cab on the Kenworth is fiberglass, and it's on a lot of trucks, and as great as that thing is, I hate it because the clearance lights are pretty much mounted to a riv nut that's mounted to the fiberglass. Any of you guys that have worked with fiberglass before, you know how completely wrong things can go when it comes to you taking things out, and things that are on riv nuts like that is everything was just rusted. It's been in the elements. I mean, trucks to 99. I don't even know when the last time those things were out. Probably never. It had just regular just regular halogen bulbs on it, so I'm assuming if anything, you know, burned out, you know, a couple of screws, take the cap off, change the bulb, and off you go. Is probably what was done to it. So they didn't want to come out. Put PB Blast. I let them sit a few nights with PB Blast on it and just continuously spraying on, and it still didn't do anything. And you know, I ended up breaking a lot of them off. The problem with it is once that comes off, because the fiberglass around where the riv nut is compromised, you can't even put a bigger riv nut on there with a bigger bolt, because, well, that plastic that goes around the actual clearance lights is only so big. So what I ended up doing was some Albanian engineering. I ended up I had some 2-inch thick steel, you know, from making brackets and everything else for the steps and a few other things, and I drilled through that, put a riv nut on that piece, and then took that whole piece and put that from up underneath the cab and just put one rivet in there so it sits in, and then sealed it around with urethane. Urethane is like a black silicone, what they use for windshields, to set in windshields on a lot of the newer cars, newer trucks. And you know, stuff seals great. I put some water on there as much as I could. Didn't seem to leak. So I keep forgetting leak and then lick. My boater dumbass, man. What do you want me to say? But yeah, should be okay, hopefully. You know, made huge progress, honestly. Made huge progress in the last week and a half. It's just one of those things now where I still got the dash. I got to mend. I'm still waiting on a head unit for the radio. I have the subwoofer and the amp already. I got a Rockford Fosgate punches, 212s for the rear. I like me a little bass. You know, I don't know new trucks, but these old trucks, they ain't got shit when it comes to sound systems. On the Freightliner, I can't remember what I put on that thing. I think I have a single 15 on that, or I'm not sure what I have, but it's up underneath the bunk. God, I can't remember. It's been such a long time now. But anyway, the floor will dry tonight. Tomorrow morning is Monday. Because of where I am in this, you know, obviously I don't want to leave the shop a mess. For my buddy, you know, he owns Buzzoff Automotive here in Troy, Michigan. Been a huge help, you know, letting me use the shop and everything else. So I don't want to leave the shop half with my shit. You know, I'm already blocking the bay with all my tools and stuff, and I don't want to leave all the floor and whatnot. So what I'm going to end up doing is come back tomorrow and you know, tidy up a few things and get the floor situated. I won't put the floor on just yet, not until I, you know, clean all the leather and the curtains and everything else and finish the dash, and I'll leave those for last. Also got a Bostrom low seat. Is it a? Well, I think Boston is called low ride, if I'm not mistaken. Like those seats. The other one is a Bostrom, so I kind of wanted to keep it the same. I have never personally had a Bostrom before. From what I did research on, you know, it seems like just like anything else, right? You know, the Kenworth guys swear by Kenworths, the Peterbilt guys swear by Peterbilts, and so on and so forth. Same thing with seats. You know, some guys, they, you know, like their Legacy, some guys they like their Boströms, and vice versa. I've had Legacies before. Well, obviously I got them on the Classic. I like them. I don't have anything against them. I think the Bostrom would be just fine. And for a lot of guys that just kind of see these videos on and think that a lot of people do this low seats just to look cool and you know, sit low like that, not always the case. For me personally, it's I'm not a tall guy. I'm 5'11", right? Average, or whatever the thing is. The problem when you are sitting down for a long time, you know, driving trucks, is if your knees are below your hips and you're sitting like that for a long time, your blood tends to pool at the bottom of your legs. It just, because of how it sits like that, your legs are kind of, you know, always downhill, so to speak. So they recommend, at least from what I've been told, that your knees stay slightly above your hips. And it's not only for that, but it's also comfort. I notice myself not getting as tired when I sit that way. You know, maybe that is the case for a lot of you guys, maybe it isn't. Honestly, let me know in the comments below. Maybe I've been told wrong, and it's one of those things where it's like the placebo effect, right? You know, people think they're taking medication, but they're taking nothing, and all of a sudden they're healed. So it could be just on one of those things. I'm not sure, but that's my my take on it anyway. Other than that, man, it's, you know, the Chicago runs went good. That was good money with those loads, really good money. Unfortunately, came to an end. My wife's pretty happy about it because she didn't like me, you know, driving mostly at night and this sort of thing. But gotta make money, gotta make money. You know, it's one of those things where you guys that have been in this business, you know, you chase money all this time, and sometimes money is over there and you don't even have to chase it, and you just got to take advantage of it. But anyway, Monday I'll come back down here tomorrow, tidy up a few things, and then Tuesday I'll look for something to go out with, make a little bit of money this week, and then come back towards the end of the week and get some work done on the truck as well. So hopefully a few more weekends and this thing will be done. Love to take it on the road, and make sure everything's okay, and kind of go from there before the winter hits. I don't want to, you know, dick around and start driving I hate to use the word new truck because it's an old truck, but to test the truck like that in the middle of freaking freezing conditions, because, you know, if you've ever been broken down on the side of the road in a cold temperature, you know. I broke down a few years back going up 70, going towards Breezewood, Pennsylvania with my dad. You know, he decided to come with me that trip. That was actually my first trip with a Freightliner Coronado. I liked the truck. Didn't really like the engine. It was a 14-liter Detroit. As much as I love Detroit, it's the 14-liter with the EGR. Not a huge fan of them. The 12.7 with the EGR is even worse, but whatever. That's a different, you know, story for another time. But anyway, air compressor went bad. Had to get a new compressor in Richmond, Virginia at the TA. And for you guys that have Freightliners, you know the fuel pump is right in the back of the mounts to the back of the air compressor. And I guess when they put it on, they didn't tighten the fittings all that great. So as we're going up the grade, I can sort of feel this hesitation out of the engine, and I'm not liking it. And I tell my dad, something's wrong. And my dad, being my dad, is like, you sick or whatever, you know, you always think there's something wrong with the truck. And I'm like, nah, it's just something doesn't feel right. So anyway, went all the way up. Thankfully we made it all the way up. I didn't want to stop until we made the uphill and then stopped on the other side of it. That way I could bump start the truck or whatever the case is if something happened. But by the time we stopped, there was plenty of air in the system that I couldn't bump start it. It's in the middle of winter, pretty cold. Had to wait for a service truck to come in and give us a jump and bleed the system. So I don't want to deal with that stuff. I broke down too once. It was, I think 2013 maybe, or 2012, 2013. We had a really cold winter. Right after New Year's, we got this huge snowstorm, and then it got really cold with a wind chill. I think it was like minus 30. Broke down over middle of nowhere off of US 33 in Ohio. That was not a fun night. So because of those experiences, I don't want to start driving the truck in the middle of winter. So hopefully I can get it done, a few more weekends, and get this thing on the road and make sure everything's okay and make sure everything's good. And then I am going to look for a polish shop, whether it's a shop that I can take the truck to out here somewhere in Michigan. If you guys know of anybody, let me know. Whether they're mobile or they have a place. After I get everything done and sort of situated, I'd love to drop it off with them so they can, sand and polish the wheels and that sort of thing. The paint, it is what it is. It's pretty rough, but I'm gonna have to wait for a little bit. We'll kind of go from there. But anyway, I'll stop rambling so you guys don't have to hear me blabber for too long. But anyway, as always, thank you so much for your support, you guys. Thank you. If you're new to the channel and you like what you see, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. If you like the video, thumbs up. If you don't like the video, hey, thumbs down. I want the truth. Anyway, see you guys on the next one.